Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to make an animation with Photoshop, and I'm going to start very, very basic. You can do more complex than this, but I'm going to start at the very basic part of it. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to File New, and I'm going to create just a default 5x7. I probably need something smaller than that, but I'm just going to do this. But the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to make my background contents transparent, because I want the outside of it to be transparent, because most of the time animations don't have anything background on them, because you can put them on a web page then anywhere you want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create this, and I get a blank document. Now, one of the things that I will need is I will need to have my timeline open. Okay, so I'm going to go to Window and Timeline, and I'll have this going here, and right here, you're going to see either create frame animation or create video animation. Video animation comes up as default, but I'm going to choose this and go to frame animation. So frame animation is the one you want. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my shape tool, and I will reset this tool just so it goes to the default. Now, when I draw this shape tool, you'll notice that I am drawing this shape, and I have this smart object layer here, and I don't want that. And the other thing you'll see is right here, it says shape. Okay, I don't want that. So make sure you're paying attention to me right now, okay, and not anything else. So I'm going to go to shape. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to switch to pixels. And when I draw this now, you can see I'm drawing the pixels. Notice too that I don't have that fill going in, because it's not making a fill. It's choosing my foreground color. So this is a 5-sided object, because 5 sides were up here. However, if you click on the options here in the settings, you have smooth corners, and you also have star, and you can choose the radius, how round your edges is. I'm going to actually choose star right here, and it says indents sides by 53%. I'm going to go ahead and let that go there. And stars draw from the center, so I'm going to go like this and draw. And now my 5-sided object is a star now. Instead of the points being out, they're in and tucked in. So I've got an orange star. I'm going to grab this layer, and I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to change the color. I'm going to use the paint bucket and fill this in. So I have a red one. So I'm going to put the red one down at the bottom, and then the orange one. I'm going to duplicate it again. And I'm going to change it to yellow and fill that in. So now I have a yellow layer. I can duplicate that one and fill it in with green, and duplicate this one. And duplicate it one more time and make it purple, okay, because I love rainbows. All right, so I'm going to rename these, and I could make it red, orange, yellow, whatever. I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. And naming your layers is really going to come in handy, okay? So now I'm ready to make this animation. So I'm going to click on this create frame animation here, and it creates one little thing down here at the bottom. And I can drag this to the new layer icon, and I'm going to drag it several times so I get 6 different frames. On my first frame, I'm going to hide everything except layer 1. On my second frame, I'm going to hide everything except layer 2. On my third one, only 3 is going to show. Fourth, only 4. Fifth, only 5 will show, and 6th will here. So if I go here and I click on the play now, you can see it's going to pulse back and forth, okay? Now, if you decide you want it to go a little bit slower, you can select the first one, hold down the Shift key to select more than one object, and select on the last one, and I can change the timing to 1 second. So now when I play it, every 1 second this changes. Okay, so it's a little bit slow at this point. So sometimes you just kind of have to play and have to decide. You can also go to other and put it exactly as you want, but I think if I go a half a second, it's going to animate just the way I like it. Okay, so at this point then, I would probably want to trim it. Now, because every single one of my layers is the same size, I don't have to worry about it. But if you have your object changing sizes, you want to make sure that you resize the biggest, so that the biggest one fits. I'm going to go here and just crop this down a little bit so I don't have as much extra in it. And I'll click on it. And again, it's going to look like this. And to export it then, I'm going to go to, by the way, if I want to save it so I can work on it again, I would need to save it as a Photoshop document because Photoshop documents have the layered, the layers in it. But if I'm all ready for this to be ready for the web, I can go File, Export, and then I'm going to go Save for Web Legacy because this is the older way of doing it. I'm going to save for web. It will by default choose a GIF. Notice that GIFs are limited in their colors, and so it's going to give me all of these extra colors that I don't have in here, but what it's going to do is as it blends out, it gets different shades of those colors, and so therefore it is, but it's still limited to 256 colors. And then down here it says looping options. It's going to loop forever because you want it to just keep going and going. If you switch that, it will only animate once, and then you'll be staring at the red star from then on, okay? Now, when I click on Save, it will then prompt me to save this GIF. And so I'm going to call it, okay? And I'll call it Star Animated. I'm just going to give it a 2 because it's very possible I've already got one here and I don't want it to question me on it. Notice that the format says images only. You actually have the ability to just make an HTML web page, okay? Or you can make the HTML and images. And again, really, really 90s stuff, old stuff, but it still works the same. So images only. When I click Save, it will be there. If I go back to my folder and I saved it in my Documents folder, I go to Star. And it's not going to show up. Okay, fine. So I come down here and I find my star. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. There it is. Okay, so if I double click on this, it's going to open up with photos that's all by default on the computer. Or you could right click on here and you can say open with, and Google Chrome will probably not be an option for you. So you're going to, not the first time you ever do it anyway, you're going to go choose another app and you're going to have to scroll down and click on more apps. And then you will have to look for the app on your PC, and it's always located in Google Chrome is in local C. It'll be in your program files, and then in Google, and then Chrome, and then the application, and then it's chrome.exe. And once you have that, then it'll be in your list, but it looks here. Now, one of the things I want you to notice, do you see how there's a little white line all the way around the outside of that star? That's called a halo effect. And it happens because it's an older version. It's just not as clean, but that happens. So if you see that, just be aware that it does happen. It's called the halo effect. And so if you know your animation is going to be on a black surface, you're going to want to make sure that you put a black layer on your animation itself so that you don't get that halo. But if you know your animation is going to be on a lighter colored surface, you won't even notice that that's there anyway. Okay? All right.